So Donald Trump wants to rename Lake Ontario to Lake America. And just to make things clear, unless I'm being sarcastic, I will never call it Lake America, just like it is and will always be the Gulf of Mexico and the Department of Defense. And look, I've been covering this trade war with Canada since the day it started, and every week, every day, I think the man, Donald Trump, has finally hit the floor of stupid. And every week, he seems to find a new sub-basement. And I just covered this yesterday, but then on Tuesday morning on Truth Social, the United States is giving serious consideration to changing the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America, in that we don't expect to doing much business with Ontario any longer. Then a second post with a map, Lake Ontario crossed out with Lake America in gold letters with a little flag on it, like something you'd win at Chuck E. Cheese. And look, I got to tell you a few things about the lake, because clearly Donald Trump has never read anything about Lake Ontario. Yes, it's one of the 5 Great Lakes, 7,300 square miles. Our border runs right through the damn middle of it. Toronto on one side, Rochester, New York on the other, and the name is a Huron word. Ontario, all right, means beautiful lake. And it's been called that for 400 plus years. And the province of Ontario is named after the lake, not the other way around. So Donald Trump is proposing renaming a lake that an entire province is named after just because someone who governs that province hurt his feelings. And I need you to keep in mind, that's exactly what happened. After the deal collapsed on Friday, Saturday, the 50% tariffs. Monday, he announced 50% tariffs on all Canadian cars, parts and steel, starting January 1st. And then posted that Canada will be treated like a state no longer. Because Sunday, he said that Canada wants the benefits of being a state without being one. So Sunday, they're a freeloading state. Monday, they're not a state anymore, arguing with himself and apparently losing day in and day out. So then Doug Ford got on the radio, the premier of Ontario. He's a conservative. 8 years running the biggest province in the country, and he was asked about these tariffs on Monday. And that's where he says, "He can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned." Great quote. Then he threatened to cut off the electricity that Ontario sells to New York, Michigan, and Minnesota, power for well over 1 million Americans.
Well, he can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned. We're going to go at him full steam. And we buy 400% more cars than anyone in the world. Maybe I have an idea. We'll get Danielle Smith on board so the cars that they're manufacturing won't be able to fill up, because we'll be controlling the oil and the gas going down there.
And then he said everything, including that energy cutoff, is on the table. So Donald Trump did what he does. 2 o'clock Monday afternoon, posts this garbage. Lots of bluster from Doug Ford, who's better known as the less charismatic, intelligent, and overall unimpressive brother of the late, great Rob Ford. The late, great Rob Ford. For anybody who's not familiar, especially from like 2013, Rob Ford was the mayor of Toronto, who admitted on camera to smoking crack cocaine. Quote, "probably in one of my drunken stupors," end quote. There were videos. And then a second video. City council stripping him of most of his powers, and then he refused to resign. He is the reason that the phrase crack mayor exists. That is the Ford that Donald Trump admires. Not the one who's run Ontario for 8 years. The one who did crack and wouldn't leave. I'm not going to explain to you why that would appeal to Donald Trump. I'm sure you get why. But then he goes on to say, Governor Carney and his flunky Ford. Someone should get these clowns to fall in line, or the consequences for Canada will be far worse. Governor Carney, he called the prime minister of a sovereign nation a governor. He did it to Trudeau too. It's not a slip. It's his plan. It's how he belittles these people. And I've got to ask you guys in the comments, where does this end? A Gulf? Airports? Train stations? Now a Great Lake? The Atlantic? What about the globe? And what about the people who live on the border there? Buffalo, Detroit, Windsor, who've crossed over that border for lunch their entire lives. Are they better off as anybody? Are we better off for Donald Trump picking this fight? No. And then right after Lake America, he posts this, a big tell. I would never interfere with Canadian-speaking French. In fact, I've never even thought of doing such a stupid thing. The lie was made up by a weak and ineffective prime minister. I love French Canadians. Now, there's something in here that's worth noting. Nobody's accused him of thinking. His negotiators put it in writing. Carney read it out loud on Parliament Hill Saturday. French language streaming rules, bilingual labels on appliances. And yet Donald Trump's defense is that he personally never had the thought. Fine, nobody believes you have thoughts anyway. But that's why the paperwork, the paper trail here actually matters. And then, of course, I love French Canadians. That's what a man says the morning after somebody hands him a map of Quebec and tells him 9 million people live there and actually vote. Meanwhile, Canada announced its counter tariffs Tuesday, dollar for dollar, plus $7.5 billion in support for workers and businesses. And when the trade minister, Dominic LeBlanc, got asked about Lake America, he said the government decided months ago not to respond to the daily social media posts. Canada, their official policy is ignoring him, like a family that stopped answering the group chat. And look, for a lot of time, we should probably ignore Donald Trump. But we can't laugh this off because Gulf of America worked, Google Maps changed it, the White House banned the Associated Press from the Oval Office because they refused to type it. He will punish the wire service over a gosh darn body of water. Yet he'll get somebody at the Department of Interior to draw up the lake, Google will capitulate, and a name that was here for 250 years before the Trumps left Germany gets a little flag sticker on it. Look, he can't build it, he can't fix it, he can't negotiate over it, so he's just going to rename it. And look, none of this is about trade. 50% on Canadian cars, it's 50% on cars built in Ontario with parts from Michigan by companies headquartered in Detroit. He's tariffing our own supply chain and claiming a win. The people who eat these tariffs are the auto workers on both sides of the river and anybody who buys a car next year. We're the ones that pay. We always pay.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
Look, Doug Ford says that Trump can kiss his ass. He can kiss my ass too. And in Canadian, that's a formal diplomatic communique. And that's why I'm going to ask you guys to subscribe to Ring of Fire, because the maps, they'll keep changing, but somebody is going to keep referring to the old ones. So drop a like, drop a comment, and then if you really want to support our mission, consider becoming a member.